Manitoba. I'll be your host for today's virtual event, Reputational Risk Management, How Your Digital Footprint Shapes Your Personal and Professional Brand with Nicole Harris. Before we begin, we respectfully acknowledge that we are virtually meeting on Treaty 1 territory and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, the Anishinaabe, Dakota Ayate, Denisesune, the Nehitununak nations, and on the traditional homeland of the Red River Métis Nation. I'm thrilled to be here with you all as we celebrate the incredible community we've built together through the combination forces of New Manitoba, North Forge, and Tech Manitoba. Today, together with our amazing allies, we're here to create space where we can share experiences, applaud accomplishments, and champion tech activities in an environment that is safe, gender inclusive, and judgment-free. One thing that makes our community special is the culture of respect we uphold. Our code of conduct for all events is simple: be kind, respectful, and support each other. It's a principle that we live by, and we encourage you to take a moment to review it through the link in our shared chat that Whitney will pop in there. Thank you so much, Whitney. Since our establishment in the summer of 2020, this community has grown to an incredible 2,100 members. Can I get a clap? We're super, super proud of everybody that has joined us. Whether you're here to network, learn something new, or just meet each others in the industry, this is a place for you. So there's a couple of events that we want to mention. Save the date for our upcoming event on May 21st. And our summer mixer on the Wawanisa rooftop on the 21st floor on June 11th. So the May 21st event, we don't have a link for that yet, but we do have a link for the June event, and more information will be coming. We're just finalizing the last little bit of details. Also, we are looking for a corporate sponsor to partner with us in 2025 and 2026. Additional support will enable us to continue hosting virtual monthly events and give us more opportunity to host in-person events. If you work with a company who is interested in partnering and looking to champion our diversity and tech mandate, please reach out to one of the executive committee members or myself, and we'll place an email in the chat, and it's also on my profile. We'd love to hear from you and see how we can align. So now let's dive into our speaker. It's my pleasure to introduce her today, Nicole Harris, a former television anchor and journalist. She knows the power of a great story and how to own it. After years in front of the camera, delivering daily headlines, she traded in the news desk for an even greater calling, helping people and brands craft narratives that connect, inspire, and protect their reputation. Today, Nicole is the founder of a dynamic PR and reputation management agency, Solv Communications, which is known for protecting and promoting brands by turning complex challenges into clear, compelling communication strategies. During her 25-year career, Nicole has provided strategic communications to the president of Iceland. She's promoted tech companies at the Consumer Electric Show in Vegas, debuted an international food company on the NASDAQ in New York, and conducted national PR for two amazing Race Canada winners. Equal parts strategist, storyteller, and hype woman, Nicole Harris brings heart, humor, and hustle to everything she does. We're excited to have Nicole here today and look forward to her insights on how members can safeguard their online reputation while shaping their narrative, their own story. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Nicole. Nicole, can you turn on your camera and mic, please?
Oh, thank you, Tina. Wonderful, wonderful intro. Appreciate you so very much. And I am really, really grateful to be here with you all. I've met some of you in the waiting room before we got started. And I'm really, really grateful that you're entrusting me to help Sherpa guide you all on good, better, best ways that we can all work on shaping and protecting and really growing our reputation. Because ladies, as we know in tech, just like when I worked in media, and when I started out in media, there wasn't a lot of women represented. There is now, and that's great. We made a lot of progress, but I just want to, very grateful that you're entrusting me to help you with growing your reputation, because as we know, strong reputations They can open doors for us professionally and personally with opportunities. So it's super important that we learn how to do that. And this is a topic that I'm really passionate about, as you're going to find out as we keep going, journeying forward together in this talk, about good, better, best ways that we can all shape the narrative of our reputation and really share the narrative of our story. Tina, would you mind just pulling up our presentation here today?
For sure.
Your screen, thank you.
You're welcome. If you give me one moment, I am having one small technical thing. This is what I love about these events. It's sometimes you have to do things on the fly. So one moment, please.
Yeah.
So tell me about how you got into like communications. What was your drive?
Yeah. I always knew from when I was 9 years old that I wanted to tell stories that mattered. I wanted to share the stories of people that really had no voice, and I wanted to be that voice for them. I believe so firmly in sharing stories of people. I believe I've got a quote, and it's my own quote, and it's that, I've got a girlfriend and she reads all these James Patterson novels, and she's got every single one of them. And that's all cool and that's great. And I think, but each one of us is a best-selling novel just waiting to be read, aren't we? Like, everybody's got a story. And I love finding out. I'm constantly curious about who's who in the zoo. What do they do? What makes them tick? And so I'm always thirsty for what are people's stories and meeting them. And my Ukrainian Baba, she helped raise me when I was very, very young, and I'll never forget. She said to me, she says, Nicole, she said, smart girls ask questions. Really smart girls ask a lot of questions. And when you ask questions, which is why I got into reporting, she said, two things are going to happen. You're going to open yourself up to a universe of learning, and you're going to start forming genuine connections with people. And that's what I love teaching now, is communication techniques, that can really improve not only our reputation, but the way we connect with others.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it. I would have loved to have met your Baba.
You guys have been pinching pierogies together. I know it.
I'm going to present now. So just give me.
Thank you.
So.
And if we have to, I can pull up. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Okay. You can advance. Next. It's okay. Just advance to the next slide and we'll be all good.
I'll advance. That's right. Okay. There we go.
Yep. Keep going. There we go. Fantastic. So, and you can go to the next one too, please. There's a great quote I'd like to open up with that you'll see it. Yeah, there it is. Tina, would you mind reading that quote for us out loud?
For sure. Character is like a tree and reputation in its shadow. The shadow is what we think it is, and the tree is the real thing, from Abraham Lincoln.
This really sums up everything we're going to chat about today. And, character is you. It's the real thing. It's what makes all of us so special and unique and beautiful inside. It's our trustworthiness. It's our credibility. That's character. But then there's the shadow of the tree, and that's our reputation. And that's what people have a perception of us before they even meet us. Maybe they've seen us online by what we've posted. Maybe it's our personal blog. Maybe it's our LinkedIn profile. And that's the reputation, is the perception of what story they start shaping in their minds about who we are as people. And so, as I mentioned earlier, women in tech, we really have to have a strong positive reputation, because we really want to get those opportunities, and we really want to set ourselves up for success in our careers. And having a strong reputation and knowing how to cultivate that is a fast track and a key to success. So if you keep going forward on the presentation, Tina, please, we'll see what we're going to go through today. Yeah, okay. By the end of this, here's my pledge to you. We're going to learn how your online presence really influences and shapes your career and your personal brand and professional brand. We're also going to look at some easy peasy lemon squeezy tips and techniques that we all can use to safeguard our digital and our real world reputations, how we act, how we behave online, and how that reflects on us personally and professionally. And we're also going to hear some really cool, powerful lessons from women in tech who have shaped the narrative of their own stories. And so if we advance to the next slide, Tina, here's another great quote. Whitney, would you mind reading that out for us, please?
You bet. So it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. By Warren Buffett.
Yeah, that's one of the sharpest, smartest business minds of our time, Warren Buffett. And this is a quote that I just believe so firmly in, because a reputation takes so much time to build. I don't want you to get confused. A brand is what we create and we put out there. It might be the things the images we want to show of ourselves, the videos, the pictures, all of that. But a reputation is so much more deeper than that. And it takes a long time to cultivate. And we have to be thoughtful of how we're telling the narrative of our story and shaping it each and every day. If you advance the slide, Tina, this is how I would characterize a reputation. A reputation is what you say all the time, consistently. It's what you do. And it's what you do when people aren't watching you. And it's how you behave over time. And that means online and offline. And while we can't control what others say about us, what we can control, and we're more in control than we think we are. This is the powerful thing I want you to remember. We're more in control than we think we are of our reputations and shaping it, because we can be conscious and thoughtful of how we communicate with others. I want you to think of it as a pebble being dropped in a pond, and all your words and actions start radiating out around you. You have the power to positively impact people around you by your communication, by your words, by your reputation, your behavior every single day. And when I was preparing for this, I thought of a real life story that just happened to me, and I'd love to share it right now. I've got a 12-and-a-half-year-old nephew, Carson. He's adorable. I just love him. And so Carson, he'll come to me and I'll help him with his homework and his assignments. And he said, "Hey, Auntie, thanks for helping me with a recent project." And I was like, "Oh, I don't remember helping you with a recent project. What was it, Carson?" And he said, "Well, we had to search someone up in our family." Apparently they don't Google anymore. The kids, the hipsters, they're searching people up now. Okay. We had to learn in school how to search somebody up in our family and learn everything we could about them. And I said, "Oh, well, who'd you choose?" And he said, "I chose you, Auntie." And I said, "Oh." And he said, "Oh, and Auntie, you're all over the internet." And I went, "What?" Like, you know how you kind of get a little nervous there when you hear something like that? But I guess to a 12-and-a-half-year-old, sure, okay. "Well, what did you find out about me, Carson?" I asked him. And he said, "Well, I knew that you were a television journalist and anchor, but I didn't realize how powerful stories you shared of really celebratory moments, but then also stories that really mattered to people, like 9/11 and the flood of the century. And I also learned that you are on the board of Junior Achievement Manitoba. And I love JA Manitoba." He said, "We have it in school." And then he said, "Oh, and then Auntie, then I searched you up on my mom's online platform, social media." And I went, "Oh, what did you find out?" And he said to me, he says, "Well, you got a lot of people around you all the time, like lots of people." And I said, "Yeah, we have lots of friends, me and Uncle, and we just love every single one of them." And then he says to me, he says, "You're always trying new things, Auntie. Like you went bobsledding to Canada Olympic Park." And I said, "Yeah, we did. We and my friends, we did." And he says, "And we know you can't bake, Auntie." You can't bake. You cook, but you can't bake. But he said, "I also see, from what I saw on your social media, that you are trying to learn new things. You're learning how to bake because you and your team are going to go to Ronald McDonald House and you're going to volunteer and bake for the kids." He said, I like that. And so I thought to myself, well, this is interesting how people start forming and shaping a narrative of us all by what we put out there online. Our personal blogs, our LinkedIn professionally, but then personally about what we post, our captions, what tone they send, what language we use, what expressions, about our personal blogs we have out there. That's all sending signals. And it's like if you take a 1,000-piece puzzle, right? And you're putting a puzzle together with the kids, and you shake it up in the box, and you put all the pieces on the table. And the first thing you start doing is the outline, right? The edges of the puzzle we put together. And then in our minds, we start thinking about, oh, what's coming next? I think this is how this picture is going to be put together. And that's what people start doing about us all from our online and our offline world. And then this all got me thinking about, Tina, if you go to the next slide, what if little Carson had this reaction? It didn't happen, but what if he searched me up online and on social media, and he wasn't my nephew, and he was like, whoa, like, we all have our own opinions, and opinions are what makes this country fantastic, and it's what makes us who we are. But we have to remember that not everybody will share our opinion. We have to be thoughtful of others out there. And so sometimes people will repost things of others that could be highly contentious, politically charged, could be racially divisive. And that's how the algorithms reward things on social media platforms. It's a very urgent, it creates urgency. People, gets them to respond in a highly elevated emotional way. And so we have to have calmer heads and cooler thoughts. And we're spending a lot of time online, aren't we? Like if you go to the next slide, we search this up and you'll see this. On average, we're spending, I think it's more than this, but this is what it said in Canada, almost 2.5 hours on social media every day. Sometimes 2, sometimes 3 platforms we're on. And that's a lot of time, isn't it? And so what are we doing online? What images and perceptions are we sending online to others about us? Others that we're going to work with, others that we're going to partner with in the community, anybody out there personally and professionally. And why does this all matter? Well, the next slide says it all. We're creating digital footprints. And here's the thing. You may post something and you may think better of it if it's not, something you want to see out there for yourself and your brand and your reputation. And then you may actually take it down. But here's the thing. These are third-party platforms. We're not in control of them. And there's a permanency to everything we put online. We can't wipe it out and erase it. And these are digital footprints, just like with Carson. If he didn't know his auntie, what perception would he have of her? We all shape these perceptions of each other. We do it all the time. Show of hands. Who has searched up a new incoming colleague of theirs? Who searched up a board member or somebody in the community that they're going to do a community networking event with before you even meet them? We all create these perceptions. And this really matters. If you go to the next slide, please, Tina. This really matters because 70% of recruiters will go online. They'll check our online presence, and they're going to go maybe to see if they can, access our social media platforms. So there's some things we can do today. I'm going to share this with you now. Tina, if you want to advance the slide, please. That we can do today to help strengthen our reputation. Hey, you got to buy yourself some binoculars, I call it. You got to know what is being said out there about you before you start, thinking about what people see what people really think about you. And we can do that by Googling ourselves, searching ourselves up. Might sound a little odd, but I do it all the time. And you do it once a month. and you can see what digital footprints are out there. Could be past personal blogs. I was working with a client recently and I said, oh, I really was quite fascinated with your blog that you had on, your struggles with weight challenges over the years. I thought that was very courageous of you, and you're just a fabulous person for sharing that. She went, what blog was this? And I went, well, it was out there. I read it. And she said, oh, that was long time ago. So there's these things that live out there. We can set our browser to incognito mode is what I like to do, because if you keep searching the same thing over and over again, you'll get the same results. And what I'll search and what Tina will search and what Whitney will search on the same person, let's say, will get all different results. So try different things. You can even set up social listening AI tools that are out there that help you understand more about what is the story that's out there online about you, and use variations of your name, even misspellings, and if you're aligned with a company. So with Solv, it's SOLV. We don't have an E on it. Vanna White can keep the E. We don't need it. And so with Solv, we'll put an E in there just to see if anything comes up, and our personal names of all the people, that are on leadership in our team. And then set a Google alert for yourself. You can also have AI tools that will search for any kind of misinformation or misrepresentation of your name and your logo, if you have a logo of a company. And so you may think, well, if you go to the next slide, you may think, well, okay, that's fine. But hey, we got to go to the next slide. There should be another slide there, Tina, please. Thank you. Nope, there should be. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Tina. You're awesome. Okay. And so you might think, well, okay, I think we missed a slide there. If you can go back, Tina, there should be a slide that advances and plays. Oh, no, it skipped over it. Okay, now, should I pull up mine? Let me see here.
I can pull up a different one if you just give me one moment.
Yeah, because it's the computer screen of the teacher that had inappropriate postings on her Facebook, and you'll see what she said. And so you may think, well, hey, I don't have to worry about this because I've got a small number of people that follow me. I know who they are, and I've got a walled garden. I've got great privacy settings. And that may be all well and good and true. Yeah, there it is, Tina. You got it. And so you may think, well, I don't have anything to worry about. But you'd be surprised at how things can leak out of your network so easily. And so this is a picture of now if we can go into presentation mode, Tina, we'll see it there. Just let me know when you're in there. Technology, eh? Would you like me to try it, Tina, from my end? Would that be okay? Because if you're in presentation mode, you should be able to play it, and it's an actual video. It'll play of what she was posting online. There you go. Okay, this is okay. So just pause it for a second. Okay, thank you. So this is a Massachusetts teacher. Look at what she's posting on her Facebook about her students and about the parents in the class. Okay, and these are horrible things that she was saying online. And so she thought she had her strong privacy settings, which she did. But here's the thing that happens. And we saw this all the time in the media, in the newsroom. And this is how we would get our stories. People would post stuff like this. She's a teacher. And people will take screenshots. And somebody took a screenshot of this. And it probably was one of the parents. They sent it to the principal and said, I don't think this is right, and I don't feel comfortable with this. And next thing you know, they're doing an internal investigation at the school. They had to send it to the school board, and now we've got an investigation on this teacher with the school board. And so what do you think happened to this teacher? She was a teacher for 15 years. She's no longer a teacher. She lost her job because of something she had posted online. Sharing her own personal opinions, yes, but they were not the opinions shared of others. And if you saw something like this from one of your teachers of your child, I don't think that would play well with you either. So we have to be careful about people reposting things that we put out there and screenshotting. And there is a permanency to it. Now, let's turn to some great ways that we can shape the narrative of our story. And there's a few ways that we can do that. And Tina, if you'd advance the slide, please. 1 in 10 people, before we get to that, are going to have some sort of off-the-cuff comment online. They're going to repost something that might be highly contentious, controversial, and that is going to reflect poorly on their reputation, just like that Massachusetts teacher. And that's unfortunate, but actions have consequences. So there's 3 steps, 3 things we can do to help tell a cohesive, professional, authentic story about ourselves. And if you'd advance the screen, please, we'll see one of them. And I love this one. And it's engaging with purpose. If you want to advance the screen, Tina, please. Hi, Tina. There you go. Okay. So first and foremost, we want to engage with purpose. Engage with purpose. I'm going to show you a picture of a very, very powerful woman in tech now. Okay. And does anybody know who this is? Anybody? Just raise a hand if you do, and Tina will come to you. Does that woman look familiar? Anybody? Nobody? Okay. I'll give you an example. She founded a dating app. Has anybody heard of Bumble? Who's heard of Bumble? Show of hands. Yep. Okay. Bumble is the online dating app, and that's Whitney Wolfe Herd. And so Whitney Wolfe Herd had a major reputational problem professionally and personally in her previous life. She worked in Tinder, another dating app, and she actually alleged that there was sexual harassment against her and sexual discrimination at the tech company she worked at. And so she left that company and she started Bumble because she wanted to create a safe space where women could make the first move and feel more comfortable and confident online in the dating world. And so she started engaging with purpose, talking about issues that really affected women in tech back then, around sexual discrimination, more of a bro culture back then. And she spoke to a lot of media about it. She also didn't let the bad press be her last press. She then came forward and she created Bumble, the online dating app. And so she really reinvented herself and shaped the narrative powerfully. Now, the next thing we can do is we can advocate for what we believe in. If you go to the next slide, please, Tina. We advocate for what we believe in. Okay, that's the slide right after this one, Tina. If you can pull that one up, please. Okay, wonderful. So engage with purpose, just like Whitney Wolfe Herd did, and then advocate for what you believe in. Now, if we go to the next slide, Tina, here she is again on the floor of the NASDAQ, and she's there with her little baby. And what she did, moving forward from, she was an IPO, her company was going public now on the NASDAQ in New York. And what she wanted to do is really be an advocate for women professionally, that they could enjoy motherhood and have a professional life at the same time. And so finding those silver linings that really resonate with you, that tell an authentic story about yourself and lift others up with you are great ways that we can enhance our reputation. And finally, there's another one. If you go to the next slide, position yourself as a thought leader. And it doesn't have to be in major ways. Take small little steps first to position yourself as a thought leader in your industry. Share your expertise, your knowledge. Like my Ukrainian Baba always said, hey, you learned it, you lived it, you might as well share it. And so this next slide of this woman, I just love, love, love what she's done. This is Reshma Sujani, another powerful woman in tech. And she founded Girls Who Code. And why she did that was because she was on the campaign trail in 2010 running for Congress. And she comes from a very well-educated family. Her parents are engineers and coders, some of them. And she was really curious about when she was on a campaign trail to get into high schools and across the country and see what they were teaching the kids. And she got in there and she noticed something really alarming to her. And it was all pretty much boys in all these coding classes, these computer science lab classes. And she's like, where are the girls? Like, we got 50% of women represented in the workforce, and 25% only at the time worked in tech. And so she actually didn't win the seat in Congress, but she did something even more powerful. She created the nonprofit Girls Who Code. There she is right there. And she championed that women, young girls, would have the experience to be able to code. She was teaching them blockchain, AI, coding, all these cool things in summer camps and after-school programs for girls as young as 7 and 8, and stayed with them all the way up into high school. And so it's an international organization now. 6 years ago, they just came to Canada. Yay, Reshma Sujani. How she did this was she created alliances with top tech women that were friends of hers, because she thought, hey, if these young girls want to be it, they got to see it. We got to have great role models. So she went and she created role models and synergy in communities. She aligned with big companies like Microsoft and IBM to have them mentor these young girls. And then once they graduated, bring them in practicum roles into their class or into their workforces. And then she created the hashtag hire more women in tech. And she created a real powerful movement that lives on today. And I just love that. If we can engage with purpose, if we can advocate for what we believe in, and if we can position ourselves as thought leaders, we can work on fortifying and protecting and preserving our reputation and our personal brand. And if we go to the next slide, if anything should ever come out negative about you, here's a few ways that we can help take control of the situation and really get in front of it. I like to say we've got to stay 10 steps in front, not 10 minutes behind. So we have to assess the situation. Stay calm, carry on. It will not feel like a good day for you. I understand, but here's the thing. I like to say you got to get your boots on. You got to find out what's going on out there. Is there misinformation about you? Is it rumors? Is it just something that's an honest mistake that was said about you? And communication between two people, I truly believe this. When you can get two people together to talk things through, that's when a lot of things can get solved. And so communication is the key to finding out what's the source of it. I also like to suggest that you put together a little bit of a plan. It's not a communication strategy. It doesn't got to be a big, long, 10-page thing, but just what is the problem? How can I help address it? Do I have to admit any mistakes that were made? We're only human. It happens. It's okay. Apologize if you did. And then connect with others and reach out and issue a statement if you have to. I like to say kiss the message, keep it short, keep it very simple, keep it on the platform as well. Keep it on the platform. where it was raised, and don't go on any other platforms that will create confusion. And then be proactive. Here's the thing. If you're not proactive and on top of it, then I fear that others will fill the void, and it will get what I call get legs, and it will start taking a life on of its own. That's the last thing you want. So you have to be present in the moment. You have to be present in the story, and you have to come forward and say something to try to resolve what's going on. You tell it early, you tell it all, you tell it yourself. So in recapping, if we go to the next slide, please, before we get on to some great questions that people have. The things that we can do today to help preserve our reputation, online and offline, we can audit ourselves using AI tools, and we can audit ourselves using Google searches to see what is actively out there about our presence today. We can be intentional about our content and our engagement online, and thoughtful. And I want you to remember that perception shapes opportunities. Perceptions, just like the tree, is the character, it's who we are, it's our trustworthiness and our credibility. And then the shadow of that tree is our reputation. It's the perception people have of us. We're more in control, ladies. I want you to believe that, know that, of our reputation that we may think we are. And we can do certain things to strengthen our reputation each and every day, because it's how we act, it's what we say and what we do that really shapes our reputation moving forward. So I'd like to thank you for your time today, and I'd love to hear if you have any questions moving forward. Oh, and please follow us. We'd love you to follow me and our team at We Are Solv Communications, no E in Solv, SOLV Communications on Instagram. And of course, you can connect with me on LinkedIn as well. And I'd be happy to take any questions if you have.
Thank you so very much. Nicole, I super appreciate everything that you shared with us today. It was very insightful. The need for us to safeguard our digital and real world reputation, and for the insights that you give us as being someone successful yourself. We really do appreciate this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Tina.
We have any questions. We have one here. Actually, it's from Whitney. So she said, as someone who is in the public eye through their position at work, how can I get more comfortable putting myself out there without feeling too exposed or vulnerable?
Right. Great question. I think the first thing is to start small and start strategically. You don't have to tell your whole story right off the hop. And I think by even just sharing insights, we all have learned and gathered knowledge. We're like little squirrels running around there collecting nuts throughout our life. And then we're saving them for, putting them in the bank, right? We're saving them. That's our credibility. And so we've got things that we can share, and it's worthy of sharing. And I want people to understand that. They can share small insights, points of view that we have, little bits of expertise. And then we can use community to build a circle of support around us. We can align with other women, other allies, and other mentors, and seek out those mentors, ladies. They've traveled the journey, they've been down the road, they've seen it, been there, done that, and they're more than happy to help lift others up with them. So seek those people out. And it's not about being perfect, but it's about showing a little bit of courage. And so you don't have to be perfect. You just got to be present and thoughtful in what you're doing. Does that help?
That totally helps. Thank you so much. Super appreciate that. We have another question here. It says, what signs or outcomes should someone look for if someone wanted to know whether their reputation work is actually helping them move forward?
That's a great question. And so I always say it's going to happen organically and you're going to start noticing it because opportunities are going to start falling into your lap. People are going to start saying, hey, Whitney, hey, Tina, we'd love you to go out there and give a talk on such and such. Do some speaking engagement, host a panel. That's when you're going to start to notice, oh, okay, I'm being recognized here for something that I've learned along the way, a skill set, a superpower that I have, right? And the other thing you're going to notice, you start becoming top of mind for something, a niche in the market. You planted your flag, you work super hard, your whole life to be dedicated to this, much like I have in reputation management and media relations, passionate about it. It's served me well in my own personal and professional life. And so you're top of mind in that now. People come to you. And I thank you, Tina and Whitney and Shaylin and everybody for bringing me in to speak with you and share my insights. Thank you. And you see, by doing that, we're lifting each other up, you see, and that's how you'll also know that your reputation is working well to serve you in the best way possible.
Thank you so very much, Nicole. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. We are so thankful for you sharing your insights with us today. Um, there's a little note in the chat here that said, "Love the analogy about the squirrel and the nuts." Thank you. That's awesome. And we have one more question here, and this is from an employee perspective.
Oh, yeah.
What are some ways companies can actively help women in tech take control of their story?
Well, I think by what we're all doing today, by championing them publicly and giving each other a voice. A voice, whether we're promoting them for an award, or promoting them in their success story internally in a company newsletter, something that they're shining forward for. Maybe they're doing in the community outside of work or within their role. And then, highlighting their work externally as well by promoting them and nominating them for certain things. And then media training. Like, media training isn't just about getting up in front of a camera and talking to the media. Media training is communications 101. It's confidence building. And that's another thing we can do. We can put them forward for media training, because how we communicate and the fact that people can communicate, it's not just talking to each other. It's so much more than that. And I want you to remember this, that your words, your actions hold immense power. And so it's like that pebble being dropped in the pond and all those waves resonating out around us. Your words, your actions hold immense power to positively impact those around you. And when we can learn to communicate positively, proactively, and properly with each other, we open up doors. We open up doors personally and professionally that will serve you well in your careers. I find everybody can learn how to communicate effectively. They just have to be open to learning. Start small, build confidence, invest in yourself. Another quote, I love quotes, and that's the more you learn, the more you earn. Would you agree, Tina?
Absolutely. I love that. The more you earn, the more you learn, the more you earn. That is so true. Having companies promote you, giving you opportunities to learn and to educate yourself, those are all very insightful ways that companies can help us. I just wanted to say a huge thank you, Nicole, for sharing your expertise on how our online presence influences our career and our brand, and for the strategies to safeguard our digital and real world reputations, and the insights from successful women who have shaped their own stories. Let's give Nicole a virtual round of applause, everybody. Thank you so much.
Tina. Thank you, Whitney. Thank you, Shaylin, so very much for championing another woman to have a voice and to help lift others up with us all. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So Nicole will be here until about 1. So if you have any other questions or just want to say hi, you could pop over to her table shortly, and you can do that. So now we'll head back to networking, and we'll all see you soon.